everybody, back with an episode of the Winchesters. Last episode, we had Carlos and John go to a veteran support group because we learned about Carlos being also in the military, same as John, and John got put through his paces by the god of war because he knows that the Akrita are coming. John, we see, is, I guess, the John that I expected to eventually see in the show. One that can't quite deal with what he's gone through and pushes everything down and doesn't want to talk about it. We see how much that played a role in his and his son's lives later on. But I like to see it just because it rings true to me, and I am trying to link these characters to the ones that we know in Supernatural. But it's pretty notable that the God of War was like, yeah, this Akrita is no bullshit. You do need to be ready. I don't know how ready John is. I don't know if that is the kind of preparation he needs, just fighting to the death. But we'll see how that goes. Mary, on the other hand, handled her trauma a lot better, allowing herself to enter Maggie's room and then offering it up to Carlos was really nice. And yeah, I don't know what to think about the Akrita. I'm really stumped of what they're doing. If it's such a huge deal, why have we not heard of it before? But maybe because John and Mary took care of it. I just want to know how this links into Chuck and John and Mary's fated role in each other's lives. Like, is this something completely separate from that? I don't know. Also, I saw a few of y'all shipping John and Carlos. There were some glances I noted, but that would be a gag, actually. But this next episode is called Legend of a Mind. Whose mind? What legend of it? I mean, it makes me think like trying to figure out someone's mind or like someone in the past's mind because it's a legend of it. Or are they talking about like a legend on a map? And you have to figure out how to navigate someone's mind. I don't know what that is pertaining to. But yeah, already on episode 5. We just don't have a lot of episodes, so everyone seems like a big deal. But I hope we see something with Roxy. More Ada, please. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where we're going. But yeah, let's get into it. This seems like it might be in someone's mind. This guy's mind.
There's the meeting to go over the recent vote, then a photo op with the radio.
Oh. Dean?
Spending a lifetime of hunting monsters takes its toll. There comes a time when you gotta let out that pain inside you. If you don't, it'll eat you alive.
What's this?
The front wheel. Which you know already because
My parents taught me. Your spark plugs were loose.
I see that.
Was he mansplaining for you?
Well, look, when you finish hunting, you should get a job here. Can't read her.
If you open up to her, she might open up to you.
Oh,
Miss Winchester.
Hey, Miss Campbell.
Sorry, Lily.
Investigating this case is the best lead we've got.
Traitor.
Oh, Ada knows more than she lets on.
Of course, the councilman was an inspiration to me as well.
That was a djinn. They
Oh,
attack a person in
we
their
know
subconscious
that.
and feed off their mental energy, usually till the person slips into a coma and dies.
That didn't
So how do
really
we track it?
seem
They
like
tend to
what
be
was going on for
solitary,
him, though.
like to pull up in abandoned buildings, but in order to feed, they have to be in close proximity of their victims. You didn't know your gin lord, did it? Come on. Come on.
Some light parkour.
Ada, watch out!
Oh. Was that a look of recognition? Whoa! Okay, some hardcore parkour.
Ada, it's my son.
Oh, shit.
Tony is half gin.
Why didn't you tell us any of this?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I was determined to save my baby. I didn't want him to get that hunger that possessed Ali. And one night he walked right into my dream and he saw everything, including the fact that he terrified me.
Oh,
He ran before I got a chance to explain to him
Damn.
the danger he posed to everyone else. And now here he is, and I have no idea what.
Doesn't matter how the monsters get to us or who they are. Okay, it's our job to hunt them. We have to find Tony before he kills anyone else.
slow your roll, John. There's nuance.
Let's search his stuff.
If Tony is behind all of this, I know we have to stop him. Okay? All I ask is that you give me a chance to try and talk to him first.
Totally reasonable.
Well,
John,
Tony might not
reasonable.
come back, so Ada and I can stay here and keep watch in case he does.
Okay, yeah. John and I can go to the police and see if anything turned up in their investigation. We need to get intel from the cops. Any ideas?
I think I have a way that won't involve us getting arrested. Afternoon, officer.
Johnny?
I just stopped at Harper's.
Eddie.
Figured to get you something too.
French dip
I
sandwich.
figured he would go to her for things.
If we can figure out what links all three, we may be able to figure out who Tony's targeting next.
Wow. And you got all of that with the sandwich.
Yeah, I did. Because unlike some people, Eddie's easy to talk to.
Are you talking about me?
Oh,
No, I'm easy to talk to.
Oh, right, yeah, no. That's what they say, you know. Hey, Campbell, she's easy to talk to.
Shut up. I am.
Wow. One, you get one a day.
that was cute.
I failed Tony.
I haven't hurt anyone. You don't believe me.
I believe
You're
you.
scared of your own son?
I'm not scared of you. You are my son.
I stayed in a dream. I helped someone face their fears, and then I helped another. I fed in the process, but only enough to get by. The worst
You know,
I
there's
did was
little
give a guy a
consent issues, but I
Everything
mean,
was fine until I started hearing this sound.
What was it?
Another monster. There was some
yeah, I thought it was
strange
more
green
than
lights.
this.
Somehow, it was controlling him, like a giant bug.
Are you sure?
Oh, that's the thingies.
I knew you wouldn't believe me, and I really don't care. Oh, you really thought I'd visit you in the real world?
Oh,
Please just wait, please.
oh. Well, you got to talk to him, but you need to bring him in, bring him home.
Tony. He didn't hurt anybody.
So who's dropping bodies all over town?
Krita.
Yeah.
It's just a theory, but these stingers could have been implanted by the Krita, allowing them to take control of the human host.
One thing you learn about plants, you can never treat any of the two the same. I was so scared Tony would become his father, I started treating them like the same person.
Well, going into it, you both knew you were from different worlds, but you went for it anyway. If you had the chance to do it over again, would you?
I followed my heart. I don't think that's ever a mistake.
It's a very complicated thing for Mary. Are the thingies themselves the Akrita? I thought that was more like the little minions.
We are building inspectors.
I know it's not up to go. I was hired to fix that. the hell's going on here?
Listen, I really think it's best if you come.
Oh, oh, oh! Oh, no, no. Mary!
Hey, you okay?
Oh, no, she got,
All right, come on, get him.
she got the 3 dots. You better check. Uh-huh.
He's definitely not going to listen to us. When you find him, give him this. It'll hide his djinn nature and allow him past the warding.
Okay.
It was wrong to lie to you about who you are, and I was even more wrong for not believing in you. I know you're not your father. You're not the worst parts of him. You're not the worst parts of me. You're my sister. You told me that you use your powers for good, right? Tony, let me see that before I never see you again.
Yay.
Every night, one of those Akrita was down there with him.
You think that's where the Creator hid the stingers?
We're better to hide them
So
in a place where you
they
don't wanna
are the
face.
Akrita.
A place where your deepest, darkest fears exist. She'd run from me, just like the councilman did.
That's why you need a volunteer.
Someone that she recognizes. Ideally, someone she feels connected to.
John.
Someone's gonna need help, John.
On it. Help me with what? You can't fight your trauma, but you can face it.
I thought she did that last episode.
We're running out of time.
Is this someone you lost?
Someone I killed.
What?
He was part of a werewolf pack my family hunted.
Oh.
It's okay.
Oh, she's little bitty.
Well, my parents told me that the monsters I was afraid of were real.
Mm-hmm.
And that one day it would be my job to hunt them down and kill them.
They told you at that age?
And this was the night they told me that.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, Mary. Okay, no kid should ever have to go through that.
That's why Ada was trying to protect Tony
Those doors are not closed forever.
from all this.
I'm gonna find a way to open all the doors that were closed for you. I promise.
John doesn't really fit into that equation.
I think you should leave Lawrence too. You deserve that fresh start we talked about.
I think she does too, but that's...
Once we fix her up, she's all yours.
It can't work out that
Take
way.
wherever you want.
I don't know if that's what she wanted you to say,
We should
though.
be here longer. Got like a million questions.
Well, you never know, I might come back.
Come
Sorry
back.
to be tapping out in the middle of your battle with these bugs. There's talk about collecting essence from the remains of rare monsters.
So you're telling me by killing these monster unicorns, we've also been doing the Creator's dirty work?
Can I write to you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Hey, so a
Roxanne.
monster signal is most likely coming from a radio tower.
Pretty sure.
Pirate
This is
radio.
everything I can get my beautiful little hands on.
Mary Campbell didn't succumb to our control. These young hunters are going to be a problem.
Okay, this was pretty interesting. I did not realize until this episode, though, that the Akrita are the actual little fake, the spider bug things. I thought those were just like hellhounds to Roxy. But no, those are the Akrita, which, I don't know, kind of puts it more in the Leviathan angle for me, where it's like monsters that like sound super big and important and scary, but then like in actuality, it's like this gross little thing. Or as much as they can depict it. But still, we know what they were collecting, the essences of these rare monsters that we're helping them collect, unbeknownst to us, but now we do know. And now we have the lead of knowing that Roxy is connected to all this, and I'm sure they're going to put it together pretty quickly that she's the one that's the leader or whatever is in her, or whatever, however that works. So that's something. I'm glad to hear all of that. And I'm glad to have met Tony. djinn is something that we are familiar with. That felt a little more in the wheelhouse and knowing what to expect. But that was kind of not the problem because Tony was just trying to help. The problem was the Akrita thing on the back of the neck to get into your mind, which is what happened to Mary. And John had to go in there. She had to work through some of her trauma, which seems like what we're doing a lot, helping Mary and kind of just witnessing John be who he is. The show puts you kind of in a weird position to want things that you don't really want or need things to happen even though they aren't great. Like, Mary deserves to be able to get out of it. You could really see Sam in her in this episode. And you want her, if she truly wants out of the game, to be allowed to do that. But then at the same time, you're like, well, if she gets out, John's certainly not. You can tell he's down for life. And if she gets out, she's not only not hunting, which is something John seems like he wants to keep doing, but also leaving. And I think she probably wanted John to say don't leave, even though he's trying to, do what's best for her. And I want Mary to do what's best for her. But at the same time, you're like, well, am I saying I don't want Sam and Dean to be born? That's not true. So it's like you feel so bad for Mary. She's in this fated situation that you are having to root for. And it feels gross. It feels a little icky. But I don't know. The show is also different. So maybe she should get to be able to do it and still somehow Sam and Dean are born. I don't know. Mary and John are circling each other. He's very clearly interested, and he's certainly not as willing to open up to her as much as he's been able to get her to open up. I mean, by necessity in this episode, because he had to go in there and help her. And what you see is so tragic. Like, oh my God, why was Samuel and Dina telling a 5-year-old this? And why didn't they get out of the game when they decided to have kids? Oh my God. Because you just think about little Sam and Dean when they had to deal with things at such a young age. And Mary, 5 years old, you're still scared of what's under your bed, even though there's nothing there, but she knows that something could be there. I would be in my parents' bed. So sad. And then you see her where she had to kill a werewolf, a kid werewolf. I mean, did that kid even have a chance? What if it was one of Garth's kids, but they weren't discerning back then. It's also tragic. But it informs Mary's reason for why she wants to get out of the game. It makes sense after everything she's been through. And I like the way that they show her trauma behind the closed doors. I think if you've seen Dr. Sleep, they do something similarly. It's more like not a door to a room, but a locked chest. And it's a good representation of what the psyche does to cope and not deal with past trauma. It would have been nice if we got to go on John's head, maybe open some doors for him, but I don't know if they're interested in doing that, other than I think they may just be wanting to show John as who he is, which I do like, but at the same time I want to root for him to do better, but then that's not the story. But this seems like a different story. The show just makes you do loop-de-loops of logic. Because you don't know what is changed, what is not going to change, what can even possibly be changed, what actually happened that we don't even know happened. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. But I'm enjoying it, and I like to hear this backstory with Ada, knowing that she had a son and she didn't know how to handle it, but you see why she was protecting him from it. In the same way you see Mary's family not protecting her from it. And you know, it helps in some ways and hurts in others, because he probably wasn't up at night with a weapon like Mary was. But then when it does come out, feeling like he has to run away because he tapped into his mother's head and saw that she was a little bit afraid, because she didn't know how much of her, his father was going to be a part of him. And I'm glad that they were able to make up, and her to let him know that she does see the good in him and wants to believe that. And he does seem like a good guy, trying to help in as much as he can, you know, using his abilities to do things that humans can't do, getting them to process their traumas inside of dreams. Is interesting. It reminds me of Mia, like I said. It also reminds me of that fat sucker thing. The episode Donna was in. Was it like the second episode we saw? No, it was the first time we saw Donna, I think. And you know, that they didn't know that she was like organically sucking the fat out, but she was helping them. You know, there's consent issues either way, but I feel like in a world with these kind of creatures, it's kind of like the best case scenario. So it's nice that he was wanting to help people. And I hope we see him again. I don't know if I expected in, you know, the few episodes we have left, but that would be nice. And he seemed to kind of like Lata. So that was nice too. Yeah. I'm hoping next episode we're gonna hit the Roxy stuff hard, because as long as that's been known, I've been wanting more about it. We've had a couple episodes, but now they know about it. And is she just like a DJ who so happens to have the Krita boss inside of her, or is like being the DJ like a part of her thing? I don't know what's going on there either. But I think this is good. This was a solid episode. I'm just all kind of like all over the place. I feel like the show is very hard to get your arms around, because it's just, you don't know what's going on, which is good and fun, but a little frustrating in the way that I just don't know what I should be rooting for, and I don't know what is new, what is the true blue past that we have known, and what is there something constantly changing? Is this brand new? I mean, it has to be, because John was not aware of this shit, unless he was and then forgot. You see these thought patterns and how they do this. So I just have to let go and let God. I just gotta let it happen. Which is, you know, hard for me, because I want to try to figure it out, but also I do like just kind of sitting back and letting shit happen. And I'm enjoying what they're doing. I really like the time period this is set in. I like the look of the show. I really like the characters that they've all introduced here. Even though John and Mary are really the only ones that we had any information about going into it. the whole thing really works for me. And I'm as interested, or more so in some cases, about the other stuff that's going on around them. So to have that, I think, is a good thing, because that, I think, was probably a lot of people's worry going into the show, that how much do we care about John and Mary's story? But I think it's proving that it's something to know. I think it's cool to see this, and it makes an interesting watch to be kind of all tied up in knots about what you're seeing. I just hope in the 13 episodes that we get that there is some kind of clarity in what it's all for. Unfortunately, I wouldn't blame them if they aren't able to do that just because they wanted to do more. But we'll see how satisfying the ending is. But it is going to be the ending, and there is nothing on the horizon as of yet. So I really want this to stick some kind of landing, and at least like tell me the thesis statement behind the reasoning of having this show. And I hope we get that. Because right now it's just like, well, this is all for what, Dean? And I'm asking you, Dean, like, he keeps telling us, he pops in for his little monologue. This is the first episode that I was prepared for it, because obviously the first episode you don't expect it, but then you're like, oh shit, there he is again. And oh yeah, there he is again. But like, I was like, oh, Dean's about to say something, which is delightful and my favorite thing. But like, he is telling us the story. Why are you telling the story to us, Dean? Please, I want to understand that. And that's the part I don't, other than the meta aspect of it, of Jensen wanting to do this. But why does Dean want us to know? I don't know. But this was fun. This was what I wanted. I wanted stuff to tie into the Akrita stuff, and that's becoming more clear, especially with them knowing about Roxy now. But like, still, what are the Akrita doing? What is their purpose? What do they want? I don't know. We'll see. But this was good. I really liked knowing this about Ada, meeting Tony, having something familiar in a djinn, having it be complicated because it's a monster that's not actually a monster, because they're not choosing to be a monster. And I think that was something that Dean and Sam took a while to learn. But it's great to see that they knew it at this point, even though I guess John didn't practice it, because Dean and Sam had to learn it on their own. But that's something of note. So yeah, this was good. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back soon.